Welcome to Holistic Wellness for People, Pets, and the Planet, a space where we explore the connections between human well-being, animal wellness, and the world we share. I'm your host, Arlana, and through We Wellness, I'll be guiding these conversations to help you discover new perspectives, practical tools, and meaningful connections. Welcome to Holistic Wellness for People, Pets, and the Planet. Today I'm joined by Bryant Massingale. His brand, The Wolf of Fitness, is the ultimate territory for raw physical transformation, savage work ethic, and iron discipline. He's proudly based in West Orange, New Jersey. This is a zero excuses blueprint for men and women ready to stop making excuses, outwork the room, and build an unbreakable body and mind. Wolf of Fitness is more than a wellness brand. It's a personal mission born from profound loss that sparked a legacy of strength and renewal. Welcome, Bryant. I'm so excited to
Hello.
have you here and for you to share
Great. It's
your
great to have
story.
me.
I really
Thank
want
you.
to learn more about your business and
Yes.
what brought you to this stage in your life. What led you to doing this work that you're so passionate about right now?
Oh man, where do I start? Well, I was a kid who grew up in a very, very harsh environment. I came from a one-parent household. My father wasn't in my life like that, but I think I've always had this resilience about me that was like where I wanted to do more with my life, and I came up from a toxic dynamic family. Okay, so then fast forward how Wolf of Fitness came about. I was in school. I was doing my associate's degree around the time. My great grandmother, who was very, very like an influence in my life, I've always, me and her were extremely close. When I was a kid, she used to like make me eggs in the morning. She used to like give me like wisdom and this and that. So what happened was I went back to school. I had to finish out. It was like around Thanksgiving, like the holidays. It was like right around there. I come home and she fell actually incredibly ill. She was right around the corner from my her it's actually her daughter's house, right around the corner from her house. So I went to visit her in the Israel. She was in the Israel home, and I'm sitting there and I'm telling her that I'm in college. She's like, oh, she was like, so then like this is when like she gets excited. She's like, oh man, you're gonna be amazing. You're so smart. You're gonna be amazing. You're gonna be great things. I already see it. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, she's already tired. So I'm like, great grandma, you're just tired right now. You don't know what you're talking about. She was like, no, no, no. I already see it. I already see it. So then she gave me the name Wolf. She was like, I'm gonna name you Wolf. I was like, why would you name me that? She was like, because you. She was like, she told me because you're gonna have to be a fighter, Brian. You're gonna have to have resilience. You're gonna have to be a fighter, but you're gonna amount to greatness. So I went home and I couldn't sleep. I'm like, why would she tell me this? You know what I'm saying? So it was, what was it? The next day, it was pitch black outside. It was like raining. It was like really raining. And I'm getting back on the bus to go back to school. And as I get closer and closer to the school, the rain comes down more and more and more. So I'm like, all right. So then I'm getting this like feeling. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I feeling like this? So then I get into my college dorm. I don't hear anything. That's when I started like something inside me was like, something's wrong here. So then it wasn't until 12 a.m. is when I found out. I get a call and said, hey, she died.
Mm.
So I didn't know what to do. That was a very confusing. That was actually very painful because like I was just me and her. I was just telling her, I'm like, great grandmother, when you get better, we'll go and work out, stuff like that. Because like I was really into fitness at that time. So like when I found out that she passed away, I didn't know what to think. I was just like, what am I gonna do? But then after college, I was like, I was pretty lost for a while. You know, for like it really took a toll on me. There were that times where I actually blamed myself. Maybe I could have done more to be there for her. That's when the whole Wolf of Fitness came about. You know, because what was it? So okay, so that was 2012. 2003 is when I started creating Wolf of Fitness. 2005 is when I really like wanted to like scale it to like to what it is now, where I'm getting interviews and this and that. So I'm like, that's when I named my brand after her, you know, just to honor her legacy, you know. So um, then what was it? 2005 is when I became homeless, and I started to really. That's when I realized that's when I really hit like a deep like I was like, all right, okay, and I'm sleeping in the warehouse around this time. That's when I really hit rock bottom. I was like, all right, you know what? I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, what will my great grandmother think of? Like, what is she thinking right now? And then that's when the first time I ever heard her voice. I was sleeping. I went to sleep and I had a dream about her. And literally in the dream, she's literally telling me, Ryan, you need to get back up. You need to get back up. You can't become you anymore. You got to become the wolf. You got to think like that. You can't become Brian anymore. You got to get back up, because I was the only one in my family that was going to be able to break this. Because in my family, I was in a toxic dynamic family. Like all my family members didn't believe that I wasn't going to make it. My last exchange from my grandmother, her daughter, she basically told me like, you're not gonna make it. Like she didn't believe in none of my. I think she wanted to evidently keep me small. And now that I see now that I'm getting interviews and magazine features and all this stuff, I realize now that she was trying to hold me back from. And I think her great at one point, I think her my great grandma was trying to tell me that, but I can see now, you know, even with this brand growing, I can see now why I help so many people. You know, because I've had people who battle tough times in their life, and I've always given them advice to say, hey, listen, you just got to hang on tight. There's always that light at the end of the tunnel. And if you can see it, you'll be able to grab it. You know, and I even wrote a book
Mhm.
while it's not out yet. It's in actually in development right now. It's called Behind These Wolf Eyes. It's basically about my childhood trauma, my toxic dynamic family. It talks about some business lessons in there, life lessons. You know, I wrote at least 600 chapters. It's not done yet.
Wow.
It's not done. Yeah, like literally, I had a whole like notebook here, and I was just writing it day in and day out. I was literally sleeping on the concrete floor while writing all this. You know, and I think that's what led me to like, I'm like, you know what, I can really do this. I can really scale this business and really get my feet in the door. And I always had, you know, I think for a while I always knew I can do it. And you know what, my great grandmother was the first one to believe in me. You know, I think she saw it before I did.
Yeah.
And
It sounds like she's there with you, she's guiding you still. So that's such a beautiful story. It's hard to, to think about, that you have to sometimes hit rock bottom in order to decide to take control of your life, take it back again. I'm really sorry to hear you had such a traumatic childhood, and um,
but
I
that's what
think,
drove me to this.
yeah, I think it's very
That's
empowering that you've reached a point now where you're giving back and you're using that information to drive you forward. So you've taking all of this that you've been through and the lessons that you've learned. How did that influence the direction that you wanted to go when you decided you were going to start your own business and what you were going to do?
Okay. So I remember this fateful day. So it was my last day of work, and before that, I think I had a moment where I was like, okay, I'm 35 now. You wake up and you see that you don't see your Lamborghini outside, you don't see anything outside, and you're wondering, you're like, was I lied to all this time? Sometimes when you hit rock bottom like that, sometimes that gives you the drive and the motivation to say, all right, you know what? I'm done. I'm fed up. Now it's time to really go after what I really want. I was able to get my small business enterprise certification. I was able to get my minority business enterprise certification. 15 magazine features came forward and they featured me. I was able to get that. I still got at least four more this week that still got to come out. I got an interview with you. So it's not like, I believe everything happens for a reason. Sometimes, when you really, really hit bottom, the only place it is to go up. And that's what led me to like really building Wolf Fitness the way it is and really telling people, hey, listen, it's okay if you come from the bottom like I did. You can always break barriers and achieve more because I believe that people deserve more. It's not good to play small pond games. Sometimes you got to play in the big pond to see what will really happen. Sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to really see success. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to step out of your comfort zone and beyond the limitations that have been set around you for sure. Uh,
Absolutely.
so what do you think is the most important thing you want people to know about your business? Either how you deliver it or, what the focus is or, what is it? What is the most important thing you want people to know about what you do?
Most important people. Okay. I want them to know that with my business and what I preach to people that because Wolf Fitness is based around resilience and stuff like that, and hard work, dedication, consistency, stuff like that. So, with that being said, I tell people all the time, like, you can, because a lot of times we're too scared to go after what we really want. And I tell men and women all the time that, fear is good. Fear is like motivation. But becoming fearlessness, that's a whole different ballgame. You can't go into something, and it's okay because a lot of times we don't want to go near the fire, but we do it anyway. Sometimes we're curious. So and I tell people this all the time. Never be. I always say this. I was telling somebody this last week because he's talented, and I told him. I think Denzel Washington said that once. He said, "It takes talent to make money, but it takes brains to keep it."
Mm,
So I told him, you have the drive, you have the talent, and I don't want to hear about your environment or what somebody didn't give you. If you're on this planet and you actually have some sort of talent, use it while you're still alive, and just go after what you want.
that's amazing. That's really, really great advice. And I like that you personalize it. It's not this is not general information. This is hearing, listening to what it is they need and giving them, the insightful guidance that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That is very empowering.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate it.
so, there are people out there that are doing coaching and doing fitness and
Yeah.
uh, you sound like you've got a really unique perspective and, background that brought you to where you are. And that's one of the beautiful things about coaching is that, we're all so different in the way, in our history, our background, where we came from and what brought us where we are. So that's what makes our coaching, so
Right.
unique and
But
so
not only that,
powerful.
right. But not only that, Wolf of Fitness is not just another fitness brand. There's a painful, powerful story behind it. that's like that's like on a whole nother level. That's not even, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, make
you
yeah.
know,
It's very much the identifier of who you are and what you bring to the table. It's
right.
it's very, very powerful and very, very unique, definitely. Uh, what do you feel might be a misconception or a myth about what it is that you do?
I'm glad you brought that up. So, this misconception about me was that I was just a content creator. They didn't understand the only reason why I said that was because think about it. Think about it. Let's this is going to be a teachable moment, right? If anybody knows how 50 Cent moves and his strategy and all that, he'll he'll do something, like he'll put something up, he'll do something just to get every single millions of people, just to get them to be distracted by that one thing while he's working on something else behind the scenes. There was like a couple something that happened a couple of weeks ago, and this is how smart he is. He's gonna put something up just to get y'all distracted and use that as the decoy. Then the news came out that he recently just bought his own headquarters in, I forgot what's it called, Chevrolet, like I forgot the name of the town, but he literally bought a headquarters, and then the week after that he put something up again, gave them an ultimate decoy distraction, and then he just came out again, and then the news I think broke a, a couple of days after that, and he got a deal for 500 million or something like that. So I'm that's what that goes back to what I said. That's the misconception that people have about me. They believe I was just doing one thing when I was actually doing this. So when they had this misconception that I was a content creator, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I was really building my empire behind the scenes. But they didn't know that.
Because sometimes that takes a lot of the pressure off of you as well as
Exactly.
as a business
Exactly.
owner, and growth can be really encouraged or discouraged and can change a shift in your whole concept of self and your business if you
Yes.
you
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 got to move in
introduce it too
silence. Moving
soon.
in silence. I always say moving in silence is the best approach,
Yeah.
and not telling your plans too early. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep building this, and then when it comes out, because like I had someone tell me, I think a couple of weeks ago, he was like, Ryan, did they know that you were building all this? I was like, no. They was like, oh, that's the ultimate mic drop right there. You're smart. You the way you did it, that was cold and calculus. I was like, I know. Just think about the horror movies like Scream. You think Ghostface is gonna you think Ghostface is gonna call you? Well, he'll call you and say, I'm gonna kill you. But he ain't gonna tell you where his location is at. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like that. It's cold and calculus. I'm gonna wait, and Wolf of Fitness is like that. That's why I like wolves, because they wait for their opportunity to strike, and when they get the opportunity to strike, That's when they kill their prey. It is no different, and that's how they execute. You wait, then you take it, then you grab the opportunity, you go for the kill, and then you execute.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot that goes behind planning your business and planning
Yes,
how you want to market it, and sometimes you got to take a few steps in one direction to realize that you need to just shift a little bit too, and you kind of set yourself up for a bit of a, not for failure, but if you start promoting certain things too soon and you end up with that not being your target destination, you feel compelled to kind of keep going. So I hear you. That really is powerful, and I've heard that said before.
Mm-hmm.
about keeping things to yourself until you're ready to bring them forward and until
Yep.
you're ready to show it. And it gives you a chance to
Yep.
feel more confident in what you're doing and, how you present it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I totally agree.
So,
Yep.
it's been really interesting here talking about all of this and what brought you here and the type of clients that you're working with right now.
Hmm.
If someone, felt compelled to, talk to you a little bit more, just, learn more about what you do, how's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Oh, they can reach out to me through email, Instagram, at Wolf of Fitness, number 8. I got a YouTube channel called Wolf of Fitness, at Wolf of Fitness 34. Um, I got LinkedIn. I got LinkedIn. I also have my Google business profile is up. They can definitely look me up and reach out to me there. You know, yeah. So there's a ton of ways where they can get in touch with me, and I also got Facebook. They can reach me out on there. Facebook slash at Wolf of Fitness, so they can reach me out. They can reach out to me on there. There's ways they can get in contact with me if they
Absolutely.
want to share. If they actually want to book a session with me, a coaching session with me, they can do that as well. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, is there any, last things that you want to mention about your business or, the type of clients that you're looking for, any programs or anything that you're offering, anything like that that you want to share with everybody before we close?
Yes, like I said, I got my book is coming out soon. It's called Behind These Wolf Eyes. Be on the lookout for that. Um, I also I'm also in partnership with someone right now. We're actually doing the groundwork right now for the book. We're working on the book cover and all that stuff. So like I said, I got a lot of things coming to the forefront right now. So yeah, just be on the lookout. And you know, if you guys don't know by now, all my stuff is about to hit the internet. So uh yeah, I can't wait to. I'm excited to see where this is gonna go. And I'm happy that I was came a part of your podcast today. And this is still like not real to me yet, because I'm like, man, like I can't believe, like I was just saying that today. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm on my first podcast. Like this is amazing.
That's awesome.
So
Well, yeah, I was excited when you reached out and I've been I mean I've been following you a little bit and of course I see your profile on the wellness directory. So
hmm
you're doing a lot of positive things in your business, and it's really interesting to hear the background. I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about doing the podcast is
right,
I think people's story really influences, who they are and how they
right,
present themselves to the world. And when you can
right.
take that and use that as your opportunity,
hmm
to create growth, not just for yourself, but now you're doing it with others as well. That's
Exactly.
really beautiful, and that's the important part I think that we needed to share here today.
Yes.
And yeah, it'll be exciting for when your book comes out. Have you got
Yeah.
a tentative date or?
It's still only in the works right now. I mean, I'm aiming for either around my birthday, around August the 17th, or
Nice.
not the end of this month. I don't think, because like I said, there's so many. I have to go through every each chapter, and I still have to put my 2 cents on it. I
Yeah.
only got to like half of it, so it's still like more material that I still need to get through.
Yeah.
But I'm having a good time creating it. It's actually
I
coming
think
along.
that's part of the healing and the growth as well,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
absolutely.
writing
Yeah,
the book is all a part of our growth. Yeah,
yeah,
and it does
yeah.
take a while to get through. I don't think people who have never written a book before have
hmm
a real conception about
Yeah, yeah, how it
ex-
all goes. Because like even
exactly.
even during the process too. So it's like, it's just a lot. I was like, man, I didn't know I had more stuff to do. you know?
Well, I'm glad you have guidance on that because it's a lot of work on if you're trying to do it
Yeah,
on your own too.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. All right. Well, Bryant, this has been really, really interesting, and I thank you for taking time to
Thank you.
meet with me and to share your story and everything about your work.
Yes.
And I invite people to reach out to you, and all of, like I said, all of the information will be in the description. I do really appreciate you sharing, some of those very intimate and, deep, powerful moments from your life.
Yes.
And if you as the viewer want to reach out, I'll have the link also to his We Wellness Directory profile, as well as all of his other contact information. And I also want to invite anyone who's listening to, take a moment and think about what stood out for you today and how that information might support you or someone else on their journey so that you can also introduce them to Bryant and his work. And
Yes.
I'd love to hear people's comments and takeaways on this conversation as well. So until next time, be well, stay open, and I look forward to sharing more with you on this podcast, Holistic Wellness for People, Pets, and the Planet. Thanks again.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Bye.
Once again, I'd like to thank Bryant Massingale, the Wolf of Fitness, for sharing all of his stories and his perspective on creating success from adversity. You can find all of his information in the description below. If you found value in today's conversation, please like, share, and comment. And I invite you to follow the podcast and share it with someone who may also enjoy this content. You can find more resources and connect with trusted holistic wellness professionals through the We Wellness Network and by joining our People, Pets, and the Planet community. You can find all the links in the description below. We Wellness is here to support a more holistic connection for people, pets, and the planet.